These poems are dedicated to all those whose lives have been spent in bringing peace to this planet. Wherever you are, I bow my head. May peace be on this earth. We are all united with the thread of love. May each one of us realize the garland of life.
Are our body and health a reflection of our mind? Now that's a good question. 30 years ago, Western society would never ask that question. The body and mind were totally separate. They were totally separate from each other. In the East for thousands of years, they believed that by treating the body, it affects the mind. By treating the mind, it affects the body. They studied how to cultivate a positive mind for well over 2,000 years. Imagine, it was only 30 years ago, did Western men study how to cultivate a positive mind. We only study the negative mind like mental illness. What does that say about our culture? Do we understand the positive mind? We weren't brought up in an atmosphere to cultivate the garden within. The Buddhists were the first psychologists. They have been studying the mind for well over 2,000 years. They have explored the mind and mapped it out. Today, their exploration continues. Today, they are studying with the finest scientists in the world. The Dalai Lama is leading the way. In the past, scientists said we could never change our DNA. That law has been found to be false. A human being can change their mind by their intent. It isn't easy, but can be done. Bruce Lipton is leading the research today. The mind is so powerful it can reprogram our DNA. As a software engineer, I love that idea. I've been developing software for over 30 years. I have seen that all programs have bugs. That's just the facts. Yet, any bug can be overcome. Writing a program, they may have hundreds of mistakes, yet by one, you correct them and they go away. In the same process, man is learning to program DNA with its intent. The mind is the most powerful computer in the universe. Whatever you say to it, it will respond. It's like ordering a meal from a menu. I want this dish, and the mind will respond. Whatever you order in the restaurant of life, the mind will respond. I have seen friends talk about their illnesses and the medicine they take. One of them took one medicine and they had a reaction. Over time, they took 20 different medicines. Some of my friends only talk about their diseases and the medicines they take. They are reinforcing their disease. Since I was 18 years old, I believed in preventative medicine. I believed in the harmony of the mind, body, and soul. We were taught not to take responsibility for our body and mind. The doctor has the cure. It's in the pill. The power of healing comes from within. When we take responsibility and align with the natural laws of the universe, we can heal ourselves. A new paradigm is taking place. We are our own doctors. As adults, we are told to be practical. What does that mean? For the majority, it means feet on earth. It means to go to school, get married, get a job, and then retire. We're all told this is what good citizens do. Yet, what are we missing? Why is there so much discord today? We are fighting wars all around the planet. Hundreds of people are dying from opioids today. Thousands of veterans are living on the streets. The Republicans, the Democrats hate one another. They don't even know how to compromise. That is something from the past. The United States is going to leave the Paris Accord. We have a president who tweets whatever comes to his mind at night. I could go on and on. Yes, we need our feet on the ground, but we need our head to be in heaven. What does that mean? It means we must be practical and pull the negative weeds inside of us. We have ignored them our entire life. Imagine the garbage dump that we have inside of us. We need to be mature and stop acting like spoiled brats. We are on the seesaw of life. The majority of us are sitting on the ground with our butts on the ground. We are not balanced in life. We follow the rules that are given to us, yet something is missing. We can't pinpoint it. We are off balance and don't even realize it. Christ talked about the garden within. He talked about pulling out the negative weeds. This is probably the most practical thing you can do. All the great masters have said that. You are a reflection of your inner world. By harmonizing the inner and outer, the seesaw will be in balance. Now this is being practical. Man then becomes human. Man equals mind. Human equals divine mind. Which road do you want to travel on? The road of anger, war, and destruction, or the road of unity, love, and compassion? It's your choice. Remember, you are the universe. You just don't know it. The wise man knows when to be quiet. He knows that words can be like putting gasoline on the fire. He has discrimination to know when to speak and when to be quiet. Words are extremely powerful. They can be like a two-edged sword. They can help humanity, or they can bring a nation to war. Our world is a manifestation of our words. We're only taught to be quiet when we're young. At times, it was an insult. Our parents or teachers would say, "Be quiet," if we said something they didn't like. Over time, the phrase became a negative connotation. Whenever we heard the phrase, our eyes would roll and say, "I've heard this before," and brush it away. Years later, we might get introduced to meditation and the same subject might come up. Be quiet. The same images from the past arise in your mind. Sit still and listen. Yet this time we realize that it's very difficult to sit still. You begin to see that the mind is very powerful. Endless chatter is going on in your mind. You ask yourself, does the mind ever shut up? No wonders the masters have said the most difficult thing in the universe is training your mind. The mind could be your friend or foe. The same steps that you take to train your mind are the same steps to train your dog. First, you must love your dog or mind. You are not the enemy. You are its best friend. Second, with compassion, you start to train your dog or mind. By being aware of your breath, the mind will not see this as a threat. The same goes with your dog. The dog won't respond to threats. If you do, the dog might respond, but you will remember that he will remember the threat. Over time, by focusing the mind on the breath of life, the mind slowly becomes your friend. It can still be a brat at times, yet the mind loves to experience the peace inside. All the chatter within was caused by a lack of peace, love, and compassion. The mind is like a tuning fork. Whatever it touches, it vibrates to that frequency. Behind your breath lies pure peace, bliss, and compassion. Over time, the mind melts into this frequency of love. You're learning how to tame the dragon mind. The dragon becomes your friend. Follow me on this train of thought. God is never created or destroyed. Okay. God is and will always be. Okay. There never was a time where God never existed. Okay. You are a part of God. Maybe. I don't know. The wise men have said you were created in the image of God. Well, once again, maybe. Well, if that's true, you were never created nor destroyed. You are pure essence. You are the universe. Your body will die and go back to the earth, and your essence will always be. Suppose this is a game. This is a game of hide and seek. We all played that game when we were young. Now, suppose this is a real game. I'll think about that. If all the great masters have talked about discovering your true nature that exists inside of you. Buddha talked about enlightenment. Christ talked about the kingdom of heaven. Suppose this is your true nature. I like that idea. Suppose that the purpose of life is to find your true nature. The entire universe is in on the game. The universe is rooting us on. The universe holds a grand party when a being discovers his true nature. Wow, look at that. The person who discovers his true nature realizes he is the universe. Okay. I like that idea. Can you imagine there might have been a universe billions of years before ours? Remember, a billion years is a drop in the bucket for God. Now we rejoice when one person, Buddha, became enlightened. He's still an incredible symbol for man. Now imagine that Earths are created so that the beings can discover their true nature. Okay, now over time, there are two possibilities. They have the same problems we have. Nobody gets a free ride. They can either destroy themselves or they can discover their true nature. Now just think, they have the capability to be the universe. They can go anywhere in the universe in less than a second. The group is united by thought and by God. They have transformed into pure light. Would it be possible for them to insist in other worlds to help them evolve along the way? Yes, that makes sense. It's a wild idea, but God is beyond wild. Can you see where I'm going with this? Maybe the whole point is to transform not only a single man, but mankind as a whole. Once the civilization enlightens, they go on to another Earth-like world, and the whole process starts again. Now that is truly hide and seek. Ponder these words. I'm taking you out of your comfort zone. Once again, you are the universe. You just aren't aware of it. Scientists are asking the question, what preceded creation? Inflation must produce multiple universes. In times, other universes are created. What are superstrings? Some people say the beginning of creation was a dot. Some people say it's like a bowl of noodles. Superstrings are 20th century theory. Strings come from zealots. String theory borders on mysticism. Strings are 100 billion times smaller than a proton. The universe was once the size of a string. Every string vibrates. Each string bends exactly how Einstein thought they would. Strings combine matter and energy. Each string vibrates and their manifestation is different. As we go backwards in time, the universe has symmetry. At the instant of the Big Bang was perfect symmetry. Strings existed. Why should a duck or a monkey understand the universe? We are wired for it. String theory is really not a theory because you can't prove it. The theory is smarter than we are. The world of the physics is just like the mystic. Alone, man finds the answer. I like the words of John Lennon. Give peace a chance. How about that? We've been fighting for thousands of years. Look at all the wars on the planet. What have they solved? Syria has totally been blown away. Where can you live when there are no cities to live in? What is the effect of this war? Millions of refugees, thousands have died, entire countries in chaos. War is never the answer. A wise man would never declare war on another. There's always a solution to any problem. War is antiquated. It is a thing of the past. In order for the world to evolve, we must stop fighting. Currently, the music that is played is scratched. The needle is playing the same part of the song over and over and over. We think this is natural. The record player became obsolete in the 70s, yet the same scratch record is being played. War, 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 war. We need to play a new song. How about John Lennon's song? Let's give peace a chance. War is not the answer. Words cannot describe how grateful I am to be alive. Not only that, but I know what's keeping me alive. My Father exists inside of me. What can be greater? The Creator exists in our hearts. Yet, mankind is still looking outside of them. The diamond exists inside. The wise man digs for the diamond inside of his heart. There, the treasure lies. It has always been there, waiting to be discovered. This is the game of life. God is playing hide and seek. Mankind is looking for God in the four corners of the earth. Where are you? In every action we take, man is looking to find God. Yet, we don't realize it. At some point in time, man is determined to solve this puzzle. His curiosity comes out, and he starts to ask questions he has never asked before. The journey of self-discovery begins. Over time, man learns to go inside and mine the diamond within. He begins to realize that he is a farmer. He starts to remove the weeds within. He removes anger, frustration, intolerance, and so much more. His life begins to change. Never in his life did he realize that it was his responsibility to take out his weeds. He sees that the seed is growing. Like any seed, it takes time to grow. He starts to learn patience. The more weeds he pulls, the more love and compassion occurs. He begins to be content in his life. The old worries are miles away. He can actually sing in the shower. He hasn't done that since he was a kid. Transformation begins to occur in all parts of his life. He begins to totally change in all matters. He has nothing to prove. He simply smiles at life. You can too. Imagine if you had a map of the world before Columbus. How could you go from San Francisco to New York? The map you have is obsolete. With the old map, it would be very hard to get to your destination. We need to get the current map of life. We're looking at the old one. Our perspective of where we are going has changed. The map you have will never take you back home. Man has been trying to solve the magic of life for a long time. We look at the magic of the sun, moon, and stars. We look at the magic of the universe. We look at the magic of this earth, so diverse. We look at the magic of our human body. What an incredible machine. We look at the magic of gravity. We look at the magic of black holes. It truly boggles the mind. The magician has no tricks up his sleeve. Most magicians just perform tricks. This magician's magic is real. The magician's magic lies inside. Words cannot never describe. Our mind is finite, our soul is eternal. Come and realize the magic inside. Is life a gamble or a throw of the dice? Is there randomness that we all are dealt different cards in our life? Does life have a purpose or meaning? For some people, life has no meaning. Life has no ethics or morals. For some people, life has a meaning and life has a purpose. Truly, life isn't an adventure. Just because you were given certain cards at birth doesn't mean you're stuck with them. If you don't like what's going on in your life, fold, start a new game. Life will always give you so much more cards. You are in charge of your destination. People may try to stop you, but they can't take it from you. Don't gamble with your life. You are an automatic winner within. Good night, my child. May you go to sleep. Tomorrow is another day. May you sleep with your angels. Sweet dreams. The world support you. Tomorrow is another day. Good night. How can we stop wars? First of all, man must stop the fighting inside. We must pull out the negative weeds that exist inside of ourselves. We must pull out anger, intolerance, and greed. We have tainted glasses. We are seeing clearly that the weeds are preventing us from seeing clearly. Any war starts inside of us, and then it spreads to others. It's like a disease. It spreads quickly. We totally think we have a God-given right to attack another country. God does not take sides. We have to solve any problems on our own. We act like spoiled babies. If I don't get what I want, I will have a temper tantrum. Wars get started that way. Wars will be stopped when there is an inner and outer balance of wisdom. Do we ever learn from our mistakes? History repeats itself over and over again. All the wise men from the past have said, learn from your mistakes. You are a fool when the same needle is playing the same part of the song over and over. War, war, war. Children have greater wisdom. They know that war never solves any problems. Look at Iraq. We've been there 3 times longer than World War II. Yet still, there is no peace inside. Show me a war today that has united mankind. By eliminating the war inside of us, we can stop the external wars. We can begin to discriminate proper actions to take to eliminate wars on the outside. How about talking to newborn mothers on both sides of the continent? Let's think outside of the box. What does a newborn mother want for her child? A warm and comfy home, food on the table, a safe environment for a child, a great school to teach the young. If she was involved in this process, I can guarantee you that wars would be stopped. The mothers would solve the problems. Politicians start wars and send young men to fight them. They aren't part of the process. Mothers are. Their sons are sent off to fight some battle. We need to stop glorifying war. Talk to any veteran. Did you know that in every hour of the day, some veteran is committing suicide? Why aren't there over 50,000 homeless veterans just in Los Angeles? Our politicians give lip service to this today. How many have come back totally traumatized? Their limbs and minds have been blown away. We make young men. It is an honor to defend our country. Yet, is any war justified? Do we have inner peace? If you don't, you are all on the same track, playing the same song. War, war, war. Inner peace is the first step we need to obtain. If a politician doesn't have that, we are doomed to fall in the same track in history. Man must start to pull the inner weeds. The wise men like Christ have been saying this for centuries, yet we say it's not practical. I would say it's the most practical thing any human being can do for this planet. I would say we are crazy not to pull our weeds inside of ourselves. Any problem known to man can be solved when a man works on the garden within. Your garden can help to bring the kingdom of heaven on earth. When the fighting has stopped inside of you, you put your piece of the puzzle into the puzzle of life. This is how wars can be eliminated from this planet. Remember that God is your coach. He is on the sidelines watching the game. It's up to us to solve our problems. I believe the more you pay attention to something, the more attention it will pay to you. If you pay attention to your wife, she will pay attention to you. If you pay attention to your children, they will pay attention to you. If you pay attention to your friends, they will pay attention to you. It seems like a magnet. When you pay attention to something, it will reflect back. Maybe that's a universal law. If you pay attention to the universe will pay attention to you. The universe has signposts along this journey of life. You are never alone. These signposts help you along the journey. They are signs from God helping you along. Yet, we don't have eyes to see. We are lost on our cell phones and Facebook. We're oblivious to these signs. The masters have said, the more you pay attention to life and the universe, you will see a different view of the video game. You will go to another level. Life begin to sync up to you, and you will begin to sync up to life. I have seen this hundreds of times writing these poems. My brother wrote the music. It seems like the music was custom made for each track. And it was yet the universe knew what music track goes with each poem. It has a mind of its own. Carl Jung called it synchronicity. That's a great word. Somehow, when you are in flow with the river of life, synchronicity occurs. The great thing is when you recognize it. My brother and I are in awe of the synchronicity of these poems. In one poem, I was talking about going to another level in the video game of life. At that precise moment, the music goes up one level. We are simply amazed by this. Even today, looking at the clock, the universe is talking to us. How many times do I say 11:11 or 1:11? Each time I do, I know I'm in sync with the river of life. No, this is not some fragment of my imagination. Well, if it comes from my imagination, well, that's a great place to be. As good old Albert Einstein once said the following: imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world, stimulating progress, giving birth to evolution. So even if it is a fragment of my imagination, so be it. How can you describe a mango in less than a word? Only by eating the mango. Synchronicity is like eating the mango. Words can't truly describe it. So what am I truly saying? The universe is alive. There are signposts all around you. Take off your blinders and see your true nature. You are never alone. You are the universe. You just don't know it. This life is an incredible journey. There are many twists and turns along the way. People come and go on this precious journey. At times we think we are all alone, stranded on a raft. Yet, if we look at the stars at night, you would see you are never alone. The universe knows your name. How about that? The universe knows your name. I like that. What is the purpose of this journey? Why are we here in the first place? Many incredible lessons are learned on a journey. When I was young, I traveled around the world. I had my fair share of adventure. I traveled third class, which meant I carried my tent along the way. At times, my journey was difficult. At times, the journey was a walk in the park. In Zambia, my friends and I were treated like kings. Many gifts were bestowed upon us. We were on national TV twice. I love Indian food, and at each house we visited, an Indian feast was presented to us. You may be bedridden, yet you are on this incredible journey of life. Discover your true essence inside of your heart. Where would I be without meditation? Many people ask me, why do you meditate? That's a great question. I've been meditating for many moons. I started when I was 18 years old. Meditation is the glue which binds all life. Meditation is the thread which ties us all together. Meditation is the means to listen to God. I first started to meditate for myself. Over time, it morphed into I meditate for the planet. We are all candles in the wind. Meditation places a precious candle inside of a glass lamp. The wind can't blow the candle out. I've learned the mind can be your friend or foe. In the beginning, I never knew how powerful the mind is. It takes years to train the mind. The majority of people on this planet have no idea who's in control of their life. Many of my friends were astonished when they first started to sit down and meditate. They had no idea how powerful the mind is. In the beginning, you meditated and got connected to the source. Years later, the source connects to you. When you close your eyes, God is there. You've been there all the time. You are never alone. This is why I meditate. Where would I be without meditation? I really don't want to know. Imagine the entire universe is alive. I would never know that. Imagine never truly knowing you are never alone. When I close my eyes, the light of God would be there, yet I wouldn't see it. I would see only darkness. I would take this precious breath for granted. I would never experience that the Word of God is keeping me alive. Behind each breath, the love of God exists. I would be focusing on my cell phone or on Facebook and be oblivious to God. I would never know that God is my friend and coach. He is on the sidelines watching the game. He will never play for us, but his presence permeates the game. He will never get angry or yell at us. I would never know that I didn't meditate. Prayer is when you talk to God. Meditation is when God talks to you without any words. I can't imagine how painful that would be to the soul. In each and every action, we are looking for God. Meditation allows us to experience the God within. Before I started to meditate, I felt lost. I didn't know how to find myself. I knew the door existed within, yet I didn't know how to open the door. Fortunately, in this present day, you can open up your door within. Just use your intent and open the door within. Concentrate on your breath. This is the key. Moment by moment, place your mind on your breath. Whatever action you are doing, place your mind on your breath. When you have free time, close your eyes and follow your breath. This is the keys to the kingdom of heaven. All the major meditation traditions say the same. Behind your breath lies the entire universe. You are the sun, moon, and stars. You just don't know it. Wisdom comes in many different styles. A man may have wisdom in his job. He may be a sophomore guru. I love to cook. Many chefs are full of cooking wisdom. They know exactly what ingredients this dish needs and when to add it. A politician knows exactly what time to deliver his speech. He would never tweet at 3 in the morning. He and his advisors would consult each other to deliver the news to the world. One word can start a war. You may have wisdom in business affairs, but running the country is a difficult matter. True wisdom is a combination of the inner and the outer. Without the inner wisdom, you are like a chair without any legs. You have no foundation. You just speak whatever that comes to your mind. The wise man understands the power of words. He knows he can spark a war or help create peace on the planet. True wisdom would never think about building a wall between two countries. This is so immature. Christ had wisdom. He would build bridges. He understood the thread that ties us all together. A man lacks wisdom and he mocks the handicapped. A man lacks wisdom when he says, I can kill someone on the street and they would still vote for me. If you said that 50 years ago, you would be thrown in jail. How about I can grab any woman by the pussy? How about leaving the Paris Agreement? Wow, only Syria and Nicaragua are part of this plan. A man of wisdom would lead the way to clean up the planet. We have garbage in our living room. A man of wisdom would have shaken hands with the Prime Minister of Germany. Where is his diplomacy? There isn't any. Unfortunately, we voted him in. He called for Russia's help during the election process. Well, they did try to intervene. I hope America learns from its mistakes. We need a man of wisdom to run this country. I pray that in the future we have a president who has both inner and outer wisdom. How about King Solomon? No, I wouldn't like that. He would be a great choice. Where are you, King Solomon? There's a great position opening in 4 years.